This is John T for the Boxing Voice, and I'm joined today by British light middleweight prospect Adrian Martin. Happy New Year, Adrian. Welcome to the site. How are you?
Happy New Year, John. I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks, mate. Looking forward to doing this interview. I'm going to come on to it a bit later, but I know there's a bit of trash talking going with you and one of the middleweights out there. So before we get to that, let's have a little talk about yourself. First time on the site, you know, what got you into boxing?
I'll be honest. I had it quite rough as a kid. Suffered a lot of mental health issues. I got sectioned. I got bullied quite badly as a kid. It was, I mean, a terrible time in my life. You know, how it makes you feel and all that. It just broke me as a kid. And yeah, I ended up being hospitalised for it. Come out and then managed to finish my GCSEs and went to college. Got the highest marks recorded in my college. And I started boxing that year as well. I started college. It gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of self-confidence that had been knocked, obviously, over the time. And I was always in a bust-up in my life. Ever since I've been, even in playgroup, I've always had a bust-up with someone for one reason or another. And I found it as a great way to sort of calm my aggression, but also to toughen myself up and give me that confidence that when I'm in those situations, I can look after myself better. And within a year, I'd had already I think 9 bouts in my first season, and I just fell in love with the sport. I even to this day, there isn't another sport that compares in my eyes. Excellent. I absolutely love it.
So when did you actually turn pro?
So I turned pro when I was 23 at the end of 2015. I wanted that year. I was meant to box in the Haringey Box Cup, but amateur politics come into play, and my card didn't get stamped, and I wasn't able to compete in that. So I didn't get to have the big finish to my amateur sort of career that I wanted. But I was ready to turn pro at the time. I'd had 30 odd amateur bouts, or around that many. I can't remember exactly, but they were all senior fights. So I was used to boxing men.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was going to be a shock to me turning over. I'm not going to take a sort of punch power that I wasn't sort of used to, because having always boxed men, I was used to the strength, and yeah, it was the best decision I ever made. I absolutely love it.
Well, look, let's move along now, because you've actually been fighting a few years. So your record at the moment, 11 wins and just the 1 defeat. Now, I think you've headlined 2 cards. You fought at York Hall quite a lot. How do you find it down at York Hill, that, you know, world famous arena like that?
Yeah, I love it. The York Hall has a special vibe about it. I mean, it's like a home. Do you know what I mean? You spend so much time there watching boxing and fighting there yourself. It becomes like another home. And there's just something about the atmosphere of everyone being around, up in the stands, and even on the seats below, standing at the edges. It feels like they're in the ring with you. I absolutely love it. It's a great venue to box in.
Excellent. So I know at the moment we're in lockdown, obviously you are like everywhere else in the country. So I know we spoke before and you've still been training.
Yeah.
So that's good. Was there any talk about maybe when your next fight might be, or when you'll be out next?
Oh, there's absolutely nothing. I mean, small hall shows, they're not sort of coming up anytime soon. I mean, I had a couple of offers. I think got offered to fight at Kevin Ajarko on a Frank Warren show. But again, with fighting all of these prospects, a lot of the time they give you really, really short notice, and you want to make weight safely. Now I'm not taking any credit away from Jamani Camaro. He was a better man on the day, but he took the fight on short notice as well. But I had to lose 10 pounds in 3 days. It's the worst I've ever felt walking into the ring, and it was the same day weigh-in. I felt absolutely terrible. After the first round, I got back to I didn't know how I was going to keep my hands up, let alone keep throwing punches. And it was a great experience. Like, I enjoyed the fight. It was fight of the night. We went toe to toe, and you know what? I couldn't lose to a more respectable person, in my opinion, either. So that was a strange experience. But it also taught me a lot about myself, and it made me realise that no matter what, you're not getting me out of there, and I can dig my way through whatever, feeling as shit as what I did. So,
well, they do say, to be fair, you probably learn more in one loss than you do in your other 11 wins, to be fair.
Yeah, massively. I mean, it taught me a lot. And also, I think for me, it was a bit of a blessing in disguise losing my O.
Mm.
I think that there's a lot of pressure with being undefeated. I think a lot of that you get put on this pedestal and then you box it in a more negative sort of way to try and keep your record. It's sort of it's a big pressure. And now that I don't have that pressure anymore, I could just go in there and just get to work on someone because I haven't got that pressure. I'm just there to go in there and win, and it's more the hurt business again. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent. Right, well, you're an Essex boy. Most people can tell that from that accent, and I know that part of the world well. I think you've done a lot of sparring maybe down at the Matchroom Gym and the Peacock Gym. Who have you been sparring with?
So down at the Matchroom Gym, I've been there a couple of times. I got the fortune to spar with former British champion Ted Cheeseman.
Yeah, no Ted. Yeah.
And Conor Benn. I got to spar with both of them. I mean, both good fighters, to be fair. I mean, Conor's very explosive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was like he's come on so far since then as well. You know, but back then, you know, I thought, you know what, we had a similar record. We were both undefeated. I thought, why don't we box one another? I was a welterweight around those times. Ted Cheeseman, he was just relentless, just keeps coming. But it was cute. Yeah, it was a really good experience to move around with both of them. But yeah, most of my stuff was over at the Peacock since I've been training there, being coached by Brian. The boys there, I mean, you can't beat the sparring there and the vibe. Yeah. There was something special about that gym. You know, getting in there with Sean Phillips, with Dan Aziz, with Denzel Bentley. Then you've got Ben and Carl Fell that come down for sparring. I mean, so many boys to name, to be honest. I mean, shout out to everyone who's in that Peacock stable, because you all know who you are, and you, man, are where we get the good work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a great gym. I've been down there plenty of times. Have you been to the new one yet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's the best gym I've ever walked into in my life for boxing.
Good shout out for Martin and Tony Bowers there. I'm sure they'll watch it.
Yeah, they've absolutely smashed it. Them two, absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, excellent. Right, well, let's move on then. So there's a little bit of beef flying around on Instagram at the moment between you and I'm going to call him the one and only, because that's what he calls himself, Idris Virgo.
Oh, right, yeah.
How did that come about?
To be honest, I first got notice of him when he had a bit of beef on Twitter after splashing water over that guy. And then my manager, Steve, he put an offer out there for Brad Pauls to fight him, and put like a wager there of on the side that if Idris was to beat him, he'd give him 100 grand, and then he'd chuck another 50 grand on top if he was to stop Brad. So it was like 150 grand offer. Realistically, there was no chance Idris was going to win. He was just going to get stopped. So I can half understand why someone who'd never fought a 6-rounder would jump in the ring with someone who was Southern Area champion. You know, and that's a good belt to win the Southern Area title. I mean, I think Brad would have mashed him up, to be honest. But at the same time, if you tell me there's 150 grand on the line, I don't care if you're a world champion. I can do with 150 grand. In fact, I could do with it now more than ever after this year. Well, last year. So I would take that chance anyway. So I think he bottled it a little bit. So I piped up, but he didn't really say too much. And then I see he popped up with a couple of things on Instagram, and I thought, you know what? Like, who is this guy? Like, he's got every opportunity handed to him. He's boxing on Channel 5 during a pandemic. He's getting those opportunities. He's probably getting pretty decent paydays out of it. And the people that are coming on there that would normally rely on the income from small hall shows, you know, that's money they need to feed their family. He's disrespecting them and treating them like they're worthless. I mean, it's disgusting. And given the circumstances that sort of everyone's finding themselves in, I think to have a platform like that and use it in that kind of way is completely shameful. So I messaged him and I was like, right, I think me and you should have it out. Do you know what I mean? I said, I'm not going to bother going public about it if you're just going to ghost it. So I'm going to come to you if you're interested in it. He's like, I don't box at super middleweight anymore. I was like, brilliant. I'm a natural middleweight anyway. I'm not naturally, you know, a super welterweight. It was killing me making that weight. And he was like, all right, okay, cool. Well, if they can make it for a title fight, let's have it. And I was like, cool. Well, I said, tomorrow I'm going to go public, so don't get all shy on me. Anyway, went public with it, and he sort of bit to it. He's responded. So it's looking like maybe he might have grown a pair, and he might actually fight someone who's going to throw back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, like, I think at the end of the day, he just needs a lesson taught to him. I mean, you know, and to be humbled a little bit. And maybe then, if he can bounce back from me whooping his ass, then maybe he might prove himself to be a worthwhile fighter and actually have a future in the sport. But right now, the way he's moving, with the platform he's got and the opportunities that he's got, he's just going about things in the wrong way. But he's not a bad man. He's not someone like that. He's not he's not a tough guy. I think he's a bit of a nerd, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I think in that, I think he's trying to play the villain a little bit. It's quite funny, but he's gone about it. He's gone over the top. Mm-hmm. I think he's trying to play a character that ain't himself, and he's gone over the top. So I just basically want to go in there and punch him up and just be like, right, settle down, because you're behaving like a bully, right? I've dealt with people like this all my life. Do you know what I mean? So those kind of games and antics, they don't really bother me. He'll learn a hard lesson if he tried any of that shit with me. And sorry, forgive my language.
No, you're fine. But, we know worse, don't worry.
That's why I'm trying to keep the language to a minimum. But yeah, to have that kind of platform and to use it in the way that he has used it. Okay, there's like O'Hara Davis was good at, you know, playing the bad guy, and I think he got really bad like pressure from people, like and bad reactions from people, when in actuality he was quite entertaining, O'Hara. I don't think he ever really said anything too offensive. I think what he got released from Matchroom for as well, I think, was taken out of context.
Yeah. Now, fair enough. I must admit, I interviewed Idris a few weeks back for the site. He doesn't lack confidence, that's for sure. I told him that if we were giving out world titles, I might as well give him one now. So I think he enjoys that pantomime villain kind of thing. You know, he enjoys that maybe he's ruffled a few feathers.
John, do you see what you just said? No. Pantomime villain. That's what it is. It's a circus. It's a pantomime. It's an act. Because he's not a villain. He's not the bad guy. You know what I mean? He's a geek.
Interesting.
He's a geek who got some good looks and jumped on a TV show that really didn't suit his personality, and got some fame off of the back of it. And he's been given good opportunities off of the back of that. But he's playing a role that he's not fit to fill. You know, when you want to be the bad guy, you want to be the badass, be like O'Hara, who is badass, who will knock you out, you know, and he'll fight anyone. Idris, nah.
What do you think? Really, so look, this sounds like some real good needle. I can see that you really want the fight. I'm sure you want to take it as well, knowing Idris and his confidence. What's the likelihood being realistically that you might be able to get that fight?
I spoke to his management, right? And they said they're going to speak to Hennessy and everything and see what can be done. They showed some interest. I'm not sure they want it as his next fight, but hopefully, if they don't want it as his next fight, if he doesn't want to jump straight into a 10-rounder after only having had 1 6-rounder, then stick me on the same show as him so we can build this fight up properly. Do you know what I mean?
That might be that Steve can speak to Mick Hennessy for and try and line that up for you.
Yeah, because if there's genuine interest, then let's get to work building this fight properly. You know, like at the end of the day, he's not going to get a better opportunity to prove himself. I think I've got enough of a reputation amongst the boxing community that I am a credible fighter.
You know, I've proven it. That, mate. 11 wins, one defeat. That's a great record.
That's what I'm saying. I've proven myself in there. You know, I've done it the hard way. I've come up through the small halls. I've had some good opportunities, Steve, give me. I boxed on an MTK show in Brentwood, pretty much my hometown, which was brilliant. The vibe there was absolutely quality. Went out in the sugar afterwards. It was a good night.
First time I ever experienced, it was a long time ago. What did it now be? About 14 years ago. I went and watched Tyson Fury. I think it was John McDermott in the first fight. And good night. I was in the leisure centre. I was like, this is different. And then I stumbled across the Sugar after. I didn't even know it was at Towie or anything.
Yeah.
It's a good night out.
Yeah, it was a good night out. It was good fun. And then also got me on the show, on the undercard of Joe Joyce's debut against Ian Lewison.
I saw that.
And that was buzzing. That was brilliant. I mean, it was awkward experience being the floater on a show.
Yeah.
That was a bit like, it's a stress that I wasn't used to. Like, not am I ready? Am I not? Should I get warm? Should I not get warm? But just to get that experience to box on that kind of a show was brilliant. So I've had some good opportunities. I boxed for a challenge belt and won it. I stopped the lad I fought in 4 rounds. So I've had some good opportunities come my way, and all I want to do is develop on that and get those big fights in, Excellent. And if we can start building it now and he's interested, then at least I can get a bit of notice to train for this fight properly as well.
I think what I need to do is I need to get the 2 of you on a call together, because both of you talk so well. I'll just sit in the background and go at it. Excellent stuff.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, well, look, brilliant interview. Great catching up with you. Hopefully, once this is all through, and I'll come and see you down the gym, down where you train, get some footage of you in the gym and stuff like that, and hopefully you'll get a fight lined up soon, preferably Idris. All right?
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. And if he's watching, right, don't be a bottle job.
I'm sure he'll watch. I'm going to tag him in the chat anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll have something to say back now, Idris. Well, look, good luck to both of you, and we'll catch up in a month or so. All right?
Wicked, man. I appreciate it.
All the best.
Thank you very much. Cheers, John. Take care.
So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.